If the Kirov tractor plant had followed the path of evolution and not... well, fine, it would be producing similar equipment. After all, craftsmen in Russia used to make this kind of thing. But then foreigners took the lead. We won't be able to take it back from them, but we can definitely tear off a few leaves. And again, there's an analogy with the conquest of Mars. You just need to get used to it so you can handle the turns. Have you seen the width of the hood? It's almost 3.5 meters. And most importantly, make sure no one gets under the wheels. Domestic, brand new. That's what I want to start with. It looks monumental, just like all of TONAR's current equipment. You've already rushed to call it plagiarism. Well, the dogs bark, but the caravan moves on. An articulated frame is nothing new at all. Just remember the Italian tractors from the time of the Great Patriotic War. But using them in tractors and road construction equipment only became possible with the development of manufacturing and technology. Of course, America was ahead of the rest of the world, but the USSR wasn't far behind, designing similar things on its own. The first was the Kharkov tractor plant, which created something similar, and it received more awards around the world than many renowned manufacturers. After that, the Kirov tractor plant followed suit. And do you remember MOS? No, TONAR simply made use of a good idea. The idea is simple, but the execution is difficult. The design features two half frames, a front and a rear one. Speaking of the front half, it constantly bears the load of the engine, the cab, and the heart of the hydraulic system. Opening the hood with the bear manually would be hard. It opens with the help of a hydraulic drive. But if necessary, you can do it by hand too. What if something happens? A small remark, the fuel tank is hidden there. It holds 550 liters. Everything here is impressive, especially when it comes to fluids. Just like the size. The TONAR 75.07 is 11.25 meters long. It is 3,240 millimeters wide and 3,820 millimeters tall. More about fluids. The hydraulic tank holds 330 liters. The system holds 480. Oil, tank, cooling, brakes, that's another 68. The engine holds 40, each axle more than 50 liters, and so on. That's why I'm carefully climbing up right now so that you can see the engine. Cummins QS Z13. Let me try to remember the technical term. Industrial grade. Manufactured in China at the Dongfeng joint venture. Displacement is 12,981 cubic centimeters. Maximum power is 450 horsepower at 1,900 revolutions per minute. Torque is 2,100 Newton meters at 1,400 revolutions per minute. The ATK radiators are ours. The hood cover. Domestic fiberglass. The engine is a Cummins, again Chinese. Where are ours? Can't you make them? TONAR can do everything. For example, a turbo diesel V8 with a displacement of 15 liters. The same ones are installed on Kiravet's tractors. YAMZ 6585. But let's get back to the design, and you'll see that there's a lot here that's ours, both in terms of ideas and execution. The front suspension of the dump truck is semi-independent, with an A-arm layout on rubber metal hinges with elastic elements. The rear suspension, on the other hand, is dependent, a balancing type, with reaction rods. Its main feature is the use of rubber elastic elements. Why? It's reliable, exceptionally durable, and also quite inexpensive to maintain. Dump trucks and large road trains equipped with such advanced suspensions operate confidently in the harsh Siberian environment without any problems, even in temperatures as low as -60 degrees Celsius. Comrades, your skepticism is unfounded, and that's simply because you just write about these things instead of actually doing them in practice. Here, they manufacture robust through axles. Do you see the hub? Inside here is a complex planetary gearbox. The tires also deserve special attention. Each wheel can handle a load of 11.5 tons. The torque from the engine is transmitted through the transfer case to the front and rear axles. Among the rear drive shafts, there is an intermediate support. Let me list what's in domestically produced axles. The differential, wheel reduction gears, axle shafts, friction clutches, in short, everything. Did anyone ever climb up to a pigeon loft as a kid? Fond childhood memories. The old pigeon loft. A rag. No? Didn't you have a childhood? It's about the same height here. When you get into the cabin, of course, you start to wonder, where are the LCD screens? Where are the rows of LED lights? And why does everything look so homemade here? You just want to joke around. Alcantara everywhere. Wood trim. Are Armenians making this? The cab is of a frame type, and the glazing is impressive. The fancier it is, the more expensive it gets. Yes, there are analog gauges here. Yes, everything is pretty simple. But at the same time, the seat has Grammer air suspension, and by the way, the cab itself is also on cushions with shock absorbers. All the instruments are quite easy to understand and operate. On the right side, you will find the controls for the gearbox, various light switches, and the ventilation system. There's a small pot placed on the roof and a nice curtain, which adds a pleasant touch. Just look at how my door is upholstered. Again, there's an extra seat so you can give a girl a ride. The cab will definitely be improved in the future, since this is just a test, essentially a trial run to see how things work. Alright, now I'll start up the engine and show you exactly how the hinge mechanism works in practice. Do you think starting the engine is difficult? No. Turn on the master switch. Turn the ignition key, and that's it. Well, you can also play around with the steering wheel. That's it. Thanks to the comfortable soft seat. Honestly, the ride is pretty stiff, and I understand the need for this handle. If anything, you can turn something on. The visibility, comrades, is amazing. Did you see those mirrors? They're absolutely huge and incredibly impressive. I can even see with remarkable clarity what's happening almost right under the rear axle of the vehicle. And if you suddenly get stuck in a difficult situation, just come to a complete stop and then engage all of the wheel locks that exist here, making sure every single one is activated properly. Articulated vehicles are rightfully considered the most capable off-road among all-wheeled machinery. They're used in places where many heavy trucks simply can't go. For uncovering deposits of mineral resources, site preparation for oil or gas extraction, laying down roads or installing pipelines. In short, it is used for moving across terrain that really isn't meant for travel or for transporting anything at all. The machine weighs 32 tons. If you actually load it up with a total of 35 tons, then the overall total weight comes to 67. That is, 67 tons in total. And if you swap out the tires for more powerful ones, the load capacity increases to 47 tons. Why am I telling you all this? To clearly show that the engineers built in a safety margin. A generous ground clearance of 450 millimeters also contributes to its excellent off-road capability. Large wheels with wide-profile tires, interaxle and interwheel differential locking mechanisms, and of course, extremely high maneuverability. meters and I handle turns quite well. Two massive hydraulic cylinders confidently turn the head in the desired direction. What else do you need to know? It's fairly quiet in the cab, and keep in mind, there's a huge diesel engine in front of me and almost the entire hydraulic system behind me. The dump body tilting mechanism is also impressive, and it's just interesting to watch how it works. The body is equipped with an exhaust gas heating system. Its capacity is 20 cubic meters with a heap, but again, it all depends on the type of material. The story does not end here. In fact, this is just a pause before the adventure continues. There is so much more to come, with new experiences, challenges, and surprises waiting just ahead. We hope you are as excited as we are to see what happens next. Please stay tuned and join us for the next chapter, where the journey will go on and even more incredible moments will unfold. Thank you for being with us so far, and get ready for the continuation of this amazing story. To be continued. To answer the question, no, you can't drive a TONAR on public roads. Essentially, it's a huge heavy-duty tractor, and it only requires a safety certificate to operate. And yes, it's equipped with an Allison 4500 automatic transmission, which is well known for its reliability and smooth shifting. This makes the TONAR suitable for specialized tasks, but not for regular road use. The standard brakes are interesting. They're oil immersed, or so-called wet type brakes. The wheel brake discs are submerged in oil baths. They say they're reliable and long-lasting. I don't know, I've never dealt with these myself. But the principle is clear. It's a closed system, which means that no dust, dirt, or water ever enters into the system. When you press the brake pedal, you are sending oil under pressure, which then compresses the friction plates or discs. This system is also sometimes called leaky. Now about the economic aspect. Obviously, the engine and gearbox will be sourced externally, but much of the rest is already being produced at TONAR. The front and rear frames, the articulation mechanism, the dump platform, and the cab, which will soon be protected by a body visor or an overhead frame, just in case. There's also more in the vehicle that's made by us, just so the all-purpose experts will have to bite their tongues. Cast housings. 2 factories in Ryazan produce them, P.O. Elma and the Precision Casting Plant. Gears are cut in Cheboksary at the Power Units plant and in Izhevsk at the Kamash plant. Brake discs are made in Chelyabinsk at Odisk. Plastics are also produced in Ryazan, and what isn't being produced yet will start to be made soon. You can believe it. Today, TONAR is the only company in our country that has mastered the production of this kind of equipment. The enterprise is working and not complaining. Our cause is just, we will win. Oh, and there's also KAMAZ. What about KAMAZ? I haven't seen it. The subtitles for this video were thoughtfully created and provided by Dimitrorzak. We appreciate the effort and attention to detail that went into making sure the subtitles are clear and helpful for all viewers. Thank you, Dimitrorzak, for your important contribution in making this content more accessible and enjoyable.